All right, today we're going to talk about making a key group that has some splits and layers in it. So for example, I've got this patch right here, which is just all contained within a key group. We've got some bass and some cello here on the left-hand side. And up here we've got a piano sound. All right, so let's get into making this key group. Okay, so I've got an empty project here, and the first thing I want to do is just get rid of these tracks, and let's make a brand new key group track. And the next thing I'm going to do is load up some samples here. So I'll go to load, and these are just some samples that I found on Splice. So for the bass, we've got this one. So we'll go ahead and load that. And then I've got this cello sound. And we'll load that into our sample pool as well. And then finally, we've got this soft piano. Cool, so now that we've got those all loaded up, let's go in and edit the key group. And the first thing I want to do is start assigning my samples. So for this one, I'm just going to pick that piano sound, and that should map it to my keyboard. So for this sound, I only want it to go from up to this note and starting at the C sharp note and on up from the keyboard. So the first thing I want to do is actually kind of determine what key that is on this Akai MPK Mini Plus. So if I just come up here into the menu and take a look at my mini monitor, I can see if I hit this note right here, that's a C sharp 3. So basically I just want this to be C sharp 3 on up for this piano. So let's edit the properties for this key group, and we'll come back in here into global, and we can set this low key to be C sharp 3. So now you can see that plays a note, but none of these below here do. Okay, cool. Next, let's add the bass. So I'm going to come back over here to my samples tab. And you can see right now that I've got one key group. The total number of key groups up here is 1. And if I press this, I can kind of see it visually, right, for this key group. It's from C sharp on up. So what I'm going to do here is create a second key group. I'm going to make my total number of key groups 2. And I'm also going to switch this so I edit key group number 2. And when you do this, you'll see that it clears everything out of here, including the sample, because I'm going to be working on a different key group. So for key group 2, let's put that bass sample in next. And let's take a listen to that. And I can hear that's both too low, and that's also not mapped exactly chromatically correctly. So let's go ahead and adjust the semitones on this. Maybe it would be better to hear it with the piano. So 3 semitones gets it to the correct pitch. I think I actually want to come up an octave from here, so let's add 12 to that and come up to 15 semitones. Cool, so next thing we want to do is make it so it doesn't play, so that it only plays up to this note right here, up to the C. So right now it plays on up. So we'll come back over here to the global properties, and again, we're editing key group 2, which is my bass, and what we want to do is set the high key on this one. And we'll set that to a C3. All right, and finally, let's add in this cello, this string sound. So I have a couple options here. You can see here, I want to layer this with the bass so that it plays at the same time as the bass. And we've actually got these layers in here right here. And I'm not going to use these. The advantage to using these would be that if you come back over here to global, you can set this layer play to different things like cycle or velocity or random. So, for example, you could use these to put in like different samples of the same kind of thing, but kind of cycle through them, for example, create like a round robin effect so the notes don't all sound the same. So that's an advantage to doing it this way. But what I actually am going to do is create another key group, and that's going to give us a different kind of advantage with this. So let's go ahead and create this third key group, and we'll edit key group number 3. And let's go ahead and load that cello sample in here. And I can hear that's also pitched not quite right. So let's adjust that. All right, and again, this is going to play up here with the piano, so we need to set the top note for this string sample as well. So let's come back over here to global, make sure we're still editing key group number 3, and let's set the high key on this to also be C3. Okay, cool. So now I've got 3 total key groups. I've got the piano on 1, the bass on 2, and the cello on 3. And there's some advantage to having these as different key groups. And the main advantage is that all of the parameters, except for these global parameters over here, are unique per key group. So we can go through and we can kind of configure these sounds on a per sound basis to have the properties that we want. So let's start, for example, with the string here. I'm going to come over here to the amplitude envelope, and let's just bring this release on this out a bit. So you can hear as I play it, the bass cuts off right away when I release the note, but the string lingers on for just a little bit longer. I think I also want to do that with the bass, but not by nearly as much. Cool, that sounds pretty good to me. Let's come back up to the string layer, and I think I want to apply a filter to this. It's a little bit bright for my tastes. So let's choose a low pass 4 maybe, and let's bring the cutoff down on this quite a bit. Actually, before I do this, I want to turn up the key tracking, which is found in the mod tab. And you can see here we've got keyboard to filter. I'm just going to turn that all the way up. Yeah, and now let's adjust the cutoff of this filter on the string sound only. Cool, let's work on the piano sound a little bit. That was in key group number 1, so I'm going to switch over here to key group number 1. And again, I think I'm going to give that a little bit of release here on the amp envelope. And I think that sounds good. Let's also apply a filter to this. So we'll come back up here and turn the keyboard to filter back up, come back to the filter, and I think maybe a 2 low pass filter will be enough for this. Let's try it out. Yeah, let's try the 4 maybe a little bit steeper. Cool, let's check out the balance between these sounds, the different volumes. So I'm going to come back over here to the global tab where I've got a level control here. And I think the piano is quite loud, so let's bring that down. I like that. So another advantage we have here, besides having all the individual parameters, is that we can give each individual layer here its own set of effects. So let's come over here to the Effects tab for the piano. And for this one, I think I'm going to choose... Let's try the granulator effect here. And I think I just want to try out one of these soundscapes is what I used before. I don't remember which one it was, but they're all pretty cool. I think that might have been what I used the first time. So you can hear the piano has that effect on it, but the bass and the strings don't. All right, let's add an effect to the bass, which was on key group number 2, I think. And for that, I think the last time I picked Air Delay Pro, and I think I just went with the default preset Burst. I really like that with this. Yeah, that's the one. So let's also do one for our strings, which were on key group number 3. And I think previously I had chosen... I think I chose the talk box. And maybe one of these choirs I picked, I can't remember which one. And that's really all there is to it. You can use these key groups to build your own unique instruments and use splits and layers to really have a lot of fun with this. And the cool thing is, I mean, you can save this as a key group, and it's just going to be ready when you save it for instant recall. If this video has been helpful for you, it would mean a lot to me if you'd go ahead and hit the like button. That's what I've got for you today. This is Joe. Until next time.